What's going on? We'll give people a couple minutes to hop in, and then we'll get started. How you doing, Carpe Diem? Slime, Himby. Hope everyone's doing well. I know I haven't streamed as much recently, but we're getting back into the 2 stream a week schedule. We'll see if people still get notifications on YouTube, or if we'll have a little bit smaller of a crowd today. I did already short. I tweeted that I took this short yesterday, 19 hours ago. I'll talk about it in the stream. I moved my stop to break even because I'm a little hesitant about this trade right now, but we will get into all that soon. What's up, Cody? Nice. Okay, that's good. I bounced between Twitch and YouTube a little. Did a poll. Everyone was like, all right, let's do YouTube. It was actually it was an overwhelming favorite. I was kind of surprised how many more people preferred YouTube. What's up, Goldberg? It's been fun posting in there a little bit while he was on vacation. Happy to help out. All right. You miss Bitcoin at 69K? Yeah, me too. Those were the good old days. All right, so let's jump into things. Sorry. I'm distracted by Twitter. Dude, Shane Wright falling to 4th was crazy. I did not expect that. Anyway. All right, time to talk crypto. First of all, shout out to Bybit for sponsoring the stream as always. If you want to check them out, there's a link in the description. I will also drop it in the chat really quick. I think that worked. Yeah, okay. All right. So overall, I mean, not a lot has changed in the last month. Today is July 8th. Back here was like June 10th. And we're still just trading in this range. And when we had this drop and I was streaming a bunch, I was like, my main assumption would just be that we chop for a while, because after seeing this much volatility, we typically get a lot of chop. And that's kind of what's playing out. I do think we pull back here. I'm not as certain about that as I was earlier. But I'm still in this trade. I've moved my stop up to break even, because I do think it is possible that we come up and take these highs, stop out anyone who shorted here, which was me, but my stop isn't right there. And then we still have this high there. So maybe this does something more like this and then breaks down within the old range. And if that's the case, I would look to get short once again. But because I'm starting to think this is a more likely scenario, I have adjusted my stop loss to my entry so that if this does happen, we won't lose any money, and I can just hop back in when the time's right. Let me actually see what. That's not bad. Could be better. Right now the range high is holding though. We had a move above it. Nearly touched it here, then broke out. Broke down from there. Like pretty strong selling off the bat. Let's see, this pulled back 6%. But there has been some pretty decent buy pressure since breaking down a little bit. It was right into this consolidation. We've bounced up, but right now we are rejecting from the range high. So I'm interested to see how the daily candle closes. If it closes like this or even red, I think that would be pretty solid. I'd like to see it close below 22K. But I mean, if this pulls back a bit more in the next 3 hours and closes somewhere down here, I think it would look pretty topped for now. I've always kind of thought we chop for a while. I know I mentioned that already, but I kind of think for the majority of the summer we will be ranging. That doesn't mean it's going to be right in this range. Like maybe this does go higher and then we like form a range more around here, something like that. Who knows what's going to happen, but I think until like late August or September, something like that, I'm kind of expecting a ranging environment. Summers in general are usually slower, and so ranging for the summer like would not be a shock in general, but just the fact that we've had this much volatility, it wouldn't surprise me to see an extended period of consolidation. So if that's the case, like we're just going to continue to play the range as much as we can. Earlier this week, or I guess it was last week now, there was a nice long opportunity after we broke out above the mid-range, retested the weekly open, and we've pushed up to the range highs. Now, when you're at the range highs, I don't like longs as much. Like, sure, you could long here, and maybe it does go to here or take that high, but this was the bulk of the move, right? The main move was this. And if you're just longing now to try and catch this, like, I don't know, that's not my style in a range. I'm sure some people will make some money doing that, but that's just not really my preference. When we're in a range, I always like to say that I will trade the range extremes. So when we're around the range high, I like to look for shorts. When we're around the range low, I like to look for longs. I had this level marked out for ages, and it seemed like forever that we were never touching it. And then finally, we wicked right into it. I wanted to see a sweep over here. I thought that sweep into demand would have been a nice long setup, but that didn't happen. But that just another way of saying longs around the range low, shorts around the range high. Keep doing that until there's an actual breakout. And some people are talking about how this looks kind of good, but like on the lower time frames, they're like, all right, hourly doesn't look too bad, right? Like whatever. But I think when you zoom out and look at a bit higher of a time frame, like this daily doesn't scream bullish to me. It just looks like it's in a range. It just tagged this daily level, swept to this high, and I would expect it to go to the other side of the range now. Cause, I heard you have multiple dogs now. When new Zeus and Husky pics on Zeus Twitter. Yeah, I should put some Husky pics on there. Her name's Luna, actually, which is kind of funny because, you know, Luna, the coin. But it's not just up to me to pick the dog's name. It's also up to my wife, and she really liked the name, so Luna it is. As one dies. A new Luna is born. Am I right? So this is the current long that I'm in. Um, for me, or sorry, short that I'm in. For me to flip long, like it's a little tricky because I just don't want to be taking leveraged longs in this region in general. I have spot exposure. If Bitcoin starts pumping from here, like I'll be thrilled, like if it does somehow end up doing something like this, like I will be happy, even though this short, well, this one would be stopped out at break even. But let's say I tried to short up here or something. Like I will be thrilled if Bitcoin just pumps from here. I just think it's pretty unlikely that we break out of this range already in the summer. So, yeah, got a couple questions about what it would take for me to long, and as I see things right now, longs just don't look appealing to me. A bullish daily close could help maybe for a long. And I guess the situation in which I would long, I think if we flip this, it would take time to play out, obviously. If we flip this from a daily perspective, close some candles up there, retest this kind of SR in this whole region, then I think you could look for longs up to 28K. And then I think it's possible that we do have just like a bigger range. Like maybe this is just the bottom half of the range and we end up trading in something that looks like this. Sorry, this is getting super messy. And we end up trading in something that looks like, what? Why did that switch back? Looks like this. Then that'll be a different story. Like maybe we're right around our future mid-range right now and it's around this SR level. And this SR level becomes the range high. So I guess that would be the long for me. I just don't think that's very likely to happen yet. And I think if we do get a move up to 28K, we would need to chop for longer. And man, my trading view skills suck right now. And I think to set up for something like that, maybe we get something like this, take out the lows, get above that, and then make a move up after we've been ranging down here for longer. And after that happens, then maybe we form a higher time frame range. You have your candle colors opposite, and this hurts my eyes to watch. Does this help? This kind of looks like a decent long, to be honest. And it's like, all right, unless we take out this low and then get back in here, that's the only other long scenario I would look for. What's my reason for not selling spot here? I don't like to overmanage my spot. At least certain portions of it. Like I have long-term spot holdings that I don't want to overtrade. I have made mistakes in the past, like in 2020, 2019, trying to overmanage spot bags, and I've learned since then to just leave my spot alone, and I can hedge downside with derivative trading. Maybe that area that we in could be a deviation zone. Yeah, that's the idea with this trade setup right now, right? That this move was just a fake out, that this is the range that we continue to trade in, and that now we make a move towards the range low. Yeah, I'm long-term very bullish on crypto, where I don't want to sell my spot and then be caught on the sidelines looking silly with little crypto exposure while everything is running. Like, I'm just not willing to take that risk. I'd rather hold through some drawdowns, hedge through the drawdowns with some derivative trading, and vibe with my spot. I do have a smaller portion of my total like spot holdings that I am comfortable trading. It's around like 10%, 20%. And sometimes I'll trade that. But in general, I'll trade some macro moves with it, right? But this is still like lower time frame to me in the bigger scheme of things. Like, whether Bitcoin goes down to like 14K from here or not, 15K, the reality is it pulled back 75%. Right now you're sitting 70% down from all-time high. And if Bitcoin survives, then on literally any time horizon, if you ever bought a 70% drawdown from all-time highs as your like spot bags, you're doing pretty dang good. For instance, I can't type. After this high, I'll just go log so it's easier to see. It went to 3K, down 70% was 5.8K, but in hindsight, buying Bitcoin at 5.8K, that looks pretty good now. Or this pullback, well, this wasn't a like new all-time high, but you get the point. That pulled back 70% to 4K. Sure, it went down to 3, depending on the exchange. With that wick, there was a lot of discrepancies back then with the wick. But yeah, depending on the exchange, went down to roughly 3K. And like, how much would you care now if you bought this at 4K or 3K? Another thing I'm paying a little bit of attention to here is the 200 weekly moving average, which do we get another wick fake out below here and flip it? That'd be pretty cool. Or do we reject right here? No, I don't look at very much TPO stuff. What coins do I have in my spot holdings? Ethereum, Sol, Juno, Bitcoin, Atom. Those are the main ones. AVAX. I still like AVAX, but I sold that's a lot smaller now. There was a time when I was pretty into AVAX, but how much is allocated already? I would say, depending on long-term stuff, like I have an amount that's in cash. I haven't calculated my what all my spot holdings are recently because I just don't like looking at it. Because like obviously long-term spot bags are down quite a bit. Not necessarily down quite a bit from where they were bought, but down quite a bit from all-time highs. So I don't know the exact percentage on hand. Somewhere in the 40 to 60 range. Yeah, acceptance below this that'd be something. Interesting how it lines up so well with this daily level. But daily close below this range high, I will be feeling pretty decent about this short. But if I had to guess, I think this probably goes up, stops me out at break even because I moved my stop to my entry, and then I would just reassess and see what happens. I'd be interested in a new short if we sweep this high or this high. But yeah, I would reassess. Ethereum, let's see. Ethereum looks pretty clean. I would love to see Ethereum take another leg up and take out those highs. Just because like these equal highs are super clean, cleaner than how Bitcoin looks, right? Because you could be like, all right, well, we're below this one, but we haven't taken out this one, whatever. So Ethereum might be the clearer short if it takes out those highs. So I'm definitely going to be paying attention to that. And maybe we get like some high time frame divs going into that level. Like if we close a candle up here, sweep those highs, this would probably do something like, oh my goodness, like this. Oop. And then if you get the div there, that'd be a pretty good looking short. What's up, Zane? And yeah, I was actually just about to pull up BTC ETH. Oops. That's not what I want. This is what I want. Level that jumps out at me would be this. Origin of the breakdown. It's kind of towards the range high, so to speak. Like if you look at it this way. I keep switching this to range. Why is it switching back? So this might ETH might be the one that we want to short. ETH big picture still looks so solid compared to BTC though. Like sure, it broke down from this, which was a uptrend from May of 2021, but still above this entire consolidation, so it's kind of cool. So yeah, if things leg up and I get stopped at break even on the Bitcoin long, what's going on? Oh, that's gold. Then I'd be watching those highs and also watching this high on Ethereum to look for a short. For me to look for longs, we would need to see a little bit more price action develop, and it would have to be on like a higher time frame. Yeah, let's look at Sol. I had a couple levels marked out. The low of this daily candle, which oddly enough got tagged like to the, well, not quite, barely missed it. And then was this a daily level? No, it's like a 12 hour. No, 4. I don't know what this was. I mean, I guess you could. Sol looks a little bit weaker just because it's kind of making a lower high here compared to this. I mean, Ethereum also did technically make a lower high, but it's a lot higher up. Bitcoin took out that high. Sol's lagging behind. Lagging behind a bit. But let's see. Like this, Sol's range looks so funky. Because if we're zooming out all the way, right? What Bitcoin did was put in that low and then a higher low here. Whereas Sol I on different time frames? Why does this look so much different? Oh, it's because this. Okay, there we go. Sol's low from May 12th is this one, and then it was just kind of like a slow bleed the entire time down. It just looks funky to me. Anyway, as far as ranges go, I mean, the highs that I'd be most interested in keeping an eye on would be this. Actually, I guess the similar short setup with what we're looking at on Bitcoin and Ethereum would be these. If we came up and swept those. But the price action on Sol has just been a little odd to me. I haven't had quite as clear of a read on it as Bitcoin and Ethereum. So it just looks so dry. I mean, I guess it could be looked at as Sol strength, right? Because it's basically trading at the same price as it was on June 4th. And Bitcoin was trading at like 30K on June 4th. But I'm more so talking about like the last few days of it. And it's even a little tricky to pinpoint like what level within this area is the most significant. So, yeah, right now I'm a bit hands off on leverage trading Sol. Yeah, no worries. So if there are some of you that joined recently, we entered this short yesterday. My stop is at break even because I'm feeling a little more uneasy about it than I did when I entered it, and that's mostly because after it came down here, I think it should have been pretty much done if this was going to nuke soon. But there was quite a bit of buying that stepped in and pumped it from 21 back up to 22. So I'm kind of leaning towards us taking out these highs, maybe trading a little bit above the range high and then breaking down below. And if that happens, I would rather short later instead of get stopped out of this only for my stop loss to be the high. Because, I mean, this is a good example of my stop literally being right at a level of liquidity. Although I don't expect it to, I won't still be in it. Because like I said, my stop is now right here. BTC short position, yep. It's funny, I enter one short and tweet it on, tweet it on Twitter, obviously. That's where you tweet. And people just all of a sudden think I hate crypto. But when we're in a range, I trade the range extremes, and that means look for longs down here and look for shorts up here. It's nothing against Bitcoin or crypto. It's just simply that we're stuck in a range. What I like about AVAX is this SR level. Like, this was the floor way back here. Last little bounce there, resistance, then you finally broke through, held as support a bunch here, and then broke below. I think from a high time frame perspective, if AVAX gets back above this level, then this would be looking like a nice little deviation, right? And for SOL, that same level is roughly here, right? Like if we're talking about the floor from, well, I guess, what's this? February to May. Well, okay, I guess it'd be that level, but whatever. This is the most obvious support on the chart, and I think SOL would look, and I don't want to say this is going to happen because I don't necessarily think it will, but for TA purposes, if it did trade below the most obvious SR and then reclaim it, that would be the Omega long situation. And that's what we're seeing on AVAX, right? Trades below this, if it flips that level, this would look really solid. Atom, similar. Something like this. Support here, resistance here, support here, resistance right now. Let's see if it can get back above. And then some of these high time frame charts are looking pretty decent, and that could be how we form a actual bottom, but it might just be that we consolidate under those levels until September, October, and then you flip back above. It would still be this scenario, it just wouldn't be happening right now, if that makes sense. All right. Well, if you guys are new here, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Getting back into the 2 stream a week schedule. Watching this high on Ethereum. If we sweep 1285 and break back below, I'll be looking for shorts. If we can flip this level, I like it as a long up to 1480. But flipping it like that takes some time. I would want to see us get above, close some candles above it. Maybe we get like a lower time frame range set up. And that would be a decent long scenario. It could absolutely pump from here. That's why I've moved my stop loss. Because like I said a little earlier, I'm kind of leaning towards the scenario where we do take out these highs. Right? Might tweet something out about that after the stream. But I think that's pretty much all I wanted to touch on this stream. Usually we go a little bit longer, but you know, it switches up. As always, said this at the beginning, but shout out to Bybit. Link is in the description if you want to check them out. KYC is getting pretty strict all over the place, and you can still withdraw. I think it's 2 Bitcoin a day on Bybit without KYC, and I'll be getting a fee discount from them soon to give to you guys. So if you want a fee discount on Bybit, stay tuned to the streams. Should have that worked out in like a week or 2. And I don't think they've ever done fee discounts before, so that should be good. So I'm not sure what day I'll stream yet. Again, I will probably get back into a schedule, but for now, I think it makes the most sense to stream whenever the market's doing something worth talking about. Like maybe after entering a trade, I'll stream. We'll talk about it, discuss some other stuff, whatever. But yeah, that's the plan. Open to whatever feedback. Why don't I use the high before? So I did look at that. It didn't. The mid range looks all right. I think you can make a case for using this range instead. I typically like when we make the range low first, but I do think this is a valid range. I just think price and like once again ranges are pretty subjective. I like to pick a range where it seems price has been like condensed within, or like the price leg that we're trading within. And it was like after we made this bottom, we bounced. Where was the high? And that was here. And we've been trading back and forth like within both sides of the range. The mid range had really good interactions here, and it was resistance here, here, and then it was support. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much why. I think you could use it the other way. I'm not gonna like if you have this range on your chart, I'm not gonna say, all right, I think that's wrong. I just think like the price leg that made that high would have been this low. Like this looks like a move to me, and I don't know. I guess it's because I've kind of always looked for the range low to be put in first. I don't. There's so like yeah. There's discretion to it. I usually play around with a couple different ones, see what works well. I think you could make a case for it being up here. I just don't think it fits quite as well. So. Yeah. All right, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Catch you later.